Biden welcomes King of Jordan as framework for hostage deal is. Washington, AP. President Joe Biden is hosting Jordan's King Abdullah II in Washington Monday, and the two leaders are expected to discuss the ongoing effort to free hostages held in Gaza, and growing concern over a possible Israeli military operation in the port city of Rafah. It is the first meeting between the allies since 3 American troops were killed last month in a drone strike against a U.S. base in Jordan. Biden blamed Iran-backed militias for the fatalities, the first for the U.S. after months of strikes by such groups against American forces across the Middle East since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. The meeting with King Abdullah II comes as Biden and his aides are working to broker another pause in Israel's war against Hamas in order to send humanitarian aid and supplies into the region and get hostages out. The White House faces growing criticism from Arab Americans over the administration's continued support for Israel in the face of growing casualties in Gaza. It appeared a deal for another pause in the fighting was getting close. A senior U.S. administration official said Sunday that after weeks of shuttle diplomacy and phone conversations, a framework was essentially in place for a deal that could see the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas in Gaza in exchange for a halt to fighting. The official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the negotiations, acknowledged that gaps remained but declined to specify what they are. The official said, Israeli military pressure on Hamas in Khan Yunis over the last several weeks has helped bring the militant group closer to accepting an agreement. The potential for an agreement took up the majority of Biden's call Sunday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The official said the two leaders also had a significant back and forth about the potential expansion of Israeli military operations into Rafah and that Biden reiterated U.S. opposition to the idea under the current conditions, while more than 1.3 million people are sheltering there. Jordan's King Abdullah II bin al-Hussein attends a military ceremony in Vienna, October 25, 2021. President Joe Biden is hosting Jordan's leader in Washington on Monday, February 12, 2024, and the two are expected to discuss the ongoing effort to free hostages in Gaza and growing concern over a possible Israeli military operation in the port city of Rafah. It is the first meeting between the allies since 3 American troops were killed last month in a drone strike against a U.S. base in Jordan. AP photo, Lisa Leutner. It was the most forceful language yet from the president on the possible operation. Biden, who last week called Israel's military response in Gaza over the top, also sought urgent and specific steps to strengthen humanitarian aid. Israel's Channel 13 television said the conversation lasted 45 minutes. The official said the Israelis made clear they would not contemplate an operation in Rafah without safeguarding the civilian population. The official said the U.S. is not sure there is a feasible or implementable plan to relocate civilians out of Rafah to allow military operations to take place. Jordan and other Arab states have been highly critical of Israel's actions and have eschewed public support for long-term planning over what happens next, arguing that the fighting must end before such discussions can begin. They have been demanding a ceasefire since mid-October as civilian casualties began to skyrocket. Biden had planned to visit Jordan during his trip to Israel in October shortly after the October 7 attack by Hamas, but the trip was scrapped. On his way home from Israel, Biden announced he'd helped broker the first deal to pause fighting temporarily and to open the crossing in Rafah to humanitarian aid. In the months since, members of his administration have made repeated trips to the region to engage with leaders there. Associated Press writer Zeke Miller contributed to this report.